Hello and welcome to your first guitar lesson. My name is Mr. Cameron. Let's start off with getting acquainted with your instrument. Much like yourself, your guitar has a body, a neck, and a head. Not too hard to remember, yeah? Attached to the head are these guys, which are called the tuners, or sometimes the tuning pegs. They make the pitch or the note of the string go up or down, and that's how we tune things. Back here, on the other end, where the strings are held here, this is called the bridge, and this little piece here is the saddle. This part, strangely enough, is the sound hole. Pretty easy to remember, yeah? It's a hole and the sound comes out of it. Then of course on the neck we have the strings that actually make the sound, and these guys running vertically to the strings are called the frets, and these are going to be very, very important. This of course is an acoustic guitar. Some of you will be also playing electric guitar, which is very, very similar. Parts of the electric guitar are the same. Body, neck, head, tuners, bridge, saddle. The electric guitar does have some other parts that the acoustic doesn't. We have these are the pickups. This is where the sound is picked up from the strings and turned into electricity and goes out the cable. We also have some various knobs and switches, and as you progress in your guitar journey, these will be important, and we will learn how to set these things up along with your amp as we go along. Alright, let's move on to the next topic. Let's review a few more things that we learned in the introductory lesson. So when we hold the guitar, we want to sit up nice and straight, like a soldier, with our guitar on our right leg. Holding the pick is very important. The way to hold your pick is take your picking hand and you want to make like this with your knuckle, with this finger. After you've done this, take your pick and make sure that the pointy end is facing out towards the first joint. Then you put your thumb on top of it. So this is what it looks like. You'll know you have it correct if when you come down here to strum, the palm of your hand is flat against the guitar. So now that we know how to hold the pick, let's do a few strums. We want to take it nice and slow. With this kind of thing, slow and steady wins the race. So let's do a few nice, gentle down strums. Oh, very good. Nice. Now let's do the opposite. Let's bring our pick up. And do a few up strums. Again, nice and gentle, making sure you're hitting each and every string. Alright, good. So now, let's pick one string at a time. Okay? This is important now that we're holding our pick the correct way, and we want to have an anchor here too, so that we always know where our picking hand is. The worst thing we can do is have our hand floating out here, and then we have to find our place on the strings every time. So let's pick one string at a time, starting down here on the thickest string, and let's just do one at a time. Again. Very good, nice. Now let's do the same thing going backwards. Good, one more time. Yeah. Let's review the Metallica song we learned in our introductory lesson. This hand is not playing anything. All our strings are still open. And remember, it goes like this. Lowest string. Let's talk about tablature, or tab. This is a simple way, versus standard musical notation, of writing guitar music based on numbers, and you will see it throughout your book. How many strings do we have on guitar? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is what blank tablature looks like. Notice to the left, it says tab, which is short for tablature. This is there to indicate that it is tablature instead of a clef like we would have in regular music. And each one of the 6 lines represents one of the strings on the guitar. I'm going to show you how the strings are numbered and how that corresponds to the tablature, which you'll see in the video. So they're numbered as follows, from thinnest to thickest. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, now with your instrument, I want you to do this with me. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Perfect. Let's review the Metallica riff we learned when this all started. This is what it looks like on tablature. You notice there's a 0 on certain strings, and those are the strings that we picked without putting any fingers down on the fretboard. So when you see a 0 on tablature, that means to play that string open or without touching anything on the fretboard. So you could think of it as 0 or O for open. Let's review the Metallica song we learned in our introductory lesson. Lowest string. Let's take a look at our left hand, our fretting hand. Hold your left hand up with the palm towards your face, and fingers are numbered like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, now we know what our finger numbers are. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to review real quickly. Remember our first introductory lesson where our fingers are going to move like a spider along the neck? Keep that in mind. It's going to be important in a second. So, how do we put our hand correctly on the guitar? Do this in the air. You want to make a C, like this. Okay, letter C. Now, take that letter C, bring it round and under the neck, like this. So, you should have a pinch. It's a couple things you're going to get sick of hearing around here. One of them is your thumb behind the neck? The answer to that should be yes. Our fingers should curve round like this so that our fingers are coming in to the frets straight in. Not like this, like this. The very tip of your finger. One way you can check is after you've held down a string or fretted a note, is another way of saying that. Look at the end of your finger. If the little line, there should be a little line right across the tip. Shouldn't be anywhere else, should be on the tip of your finger. This is a habit I want you to get into from the very beginning. So you have a nice curve, fingers coming in straight and playing with the tips of the fingers. Now you're not going to escape having sore fingers for a few days when you first start off. However, if you do have this correct technique, you will have to apply far less pressure to the strings. Most guitarists put way too much pressure on the strings. If you're coming in straight, you're going to have to put a lot less pressure. That's very important. Here's the second thing that you are probably going to get sick of hearing around here, and that is one finger per fret. Okay, say that after me. One finger per fret. Awesome. So, what does that mean? Let's take a look at what that looks like. So, we have our C. We bring it round, thumb behind the neck, coming in straight. Okay, so this is finger number 1. This is fret number 1. Now when we play a note, we don't put our finger on top of the fret. That's never going to work. Finger needs to be in the box, just behind the fret. Not here, not here. As close to behind the fret as possible. You're going to get the cleanest sound, and you're going to have to apply the least pressure that way. So here's your first warm-up exercise. When you sit down to play, you should always, to practice, excuse me, you should always have a warm-up routine. Here's your first warm-up routine. We're going to start on string 6, and we're just going to walk up using our correct hand position. Oh, another note. There should always be daylight in here. If your hand is like this, if this part of your hand is touching the neck, something's wrong. Okay, so here's your warm-up. On string 6, fret 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, we're going to move up to fret 1 on string 5 and do the same thing. Okay, here's a pro tip. When you first start doing this, almost everyone does this. If they're fretting this note, their hand is flying around out here like this. Then when they go for the second note, they have a lot of range to cover and they're going to have trouble finding it. And then their fingers are out here like this. Get used to having the good hand position right off the gate. or good finger control, I should say. That means keeping your fingers as close as possible without touching the strings that you, or touching the frets you don't want to touch. So like this. Okay, just do those two strings. That's your first warm-up. All right, at long last we're going to play something. Using tab, we're going to have both hands together now, and we're going to read some tab. So we're going to look at page 17 in your book. There's an exercise there in tablature and actual notation. We're not going to worry about that at the moment. We're just going to look at the tablature at the bottom. So what is the first note there? Well, we have string 6 indicated, and we have 0 indicated, so this is our first note. Okay, the next, what do we have next? Oh, a 3. Okay, so fret 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, and remember, third finger, third fret. So our second note is this. And then back to 0 twice. So let's play through the exercise slowly now. 1, 2, 3, 4. 0, 3, 0, 0. 0, 3, 0, 0. 0, 3, 0, 0. 0, 3, 0, 0. And just like that, you've played your first riff. Okay, the last thing for today, we're gonna play a little excerpt of a tune called Rock City. You'll find this excerpt on page 42 of your book. Now let's take a little look at what's going on there. We have some numbers, but they're not all on the same string or line, are they? So what is the first note on? Well, let's look. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4. So our first note is on string 4, and it says 2. So 2 on string 4 with second finger, 2, then 0. Now notice the numbers move down a string to string 5, and we have again 2 and 0. Then the numbers move down to where we started on string 6, and we have 3, so third finger, third fret, and then 0. Okay, I'm going to play through this slowly so you can, if you don't have your stuff right this minute, you'll have something to play along with to get a feel for it. So here we go, nice and slow. And remember, slow and steady wins the race. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? Now, let's play it in a loop, which means we're just going to play it to the end and then start over. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And there you have it. That brings us to the end of lesson number 1. And I'll look forward to seeing you in lesson number 2. Thanks. Bye.